Hi guys, I want to show you the changes with Solibri Batch Manager and how it works. I will start with how it works first, then tell a little bit about the changes I've done. The changes I've done is mainly with settings and small stuff like that, but for you it's a lot of great changes, so the program runs a lot smoother. First off, for those who haven't used the program or Solibri Batch Manager before, I want to show you some different things. Now the program is started. It's a small exe file, and it doesn't need to be installed on the computer. You can only run. Some of you have mentioned that when you try to run it, it stops because Windows thinks it's dangerous malware or something like that. But that's standard. And if you say that it's okay and run it, it works just like it's intended. It's no problem. But first off, I want to show you how the program is set up. And now, before we start, I want to show the file system here. For those who don't use the program often or haven't at all, you can use the Windows keys Control plus N to create a new, Control plus O to open, Control S to save, and save as and exit. Those haven't got shortcuts. Under tools, you have options. In the options, you get the same as settings. And the changes I've done in settings is that Solibri model checker version 9.13 and configuration is set standardly at this. But if I go into this icon here, I can change or create new ones. If you create new ones, it just get added to the list, and you get a drop-down list here. Now, the first Solibri options or Solibri version is set to the standard place where Solibri is installed on your computer. But if you work at a company or something somewhere else, and they install it at another path, you can change it here. And the configuration is set up like it's the place where XML and batch file is saved. So the batch file and the XML file is saved at this location, the configuration directory. If you want to create a new one or use the same path as me, it's standard set to your desktop, and a new folder is created named Autorun. The result from Autorun, if we change or set that place under task, new task, we do that a little bit later. But now we can click on the folder, and by the folder we get a save folder place, a dialog like this, and we can set to a new folder where we want to save it. For this workflow or this video, I will let it be at the place it was. So I'll just say cancel here, and it will be saved at the same location it was. And we can set up some classification and rule sets. As a standard, we can implement or create settings with this also, or with classification and rule set in the settings, and we can extract them from settings later when we create the task. And some fixes with that lately is that our former version, when we implemented classification and rule set and create a new task and implement it here again, and thought, oh, I don't want to have them at all, and delete them from the main dialog, it also got removed from settings, but I fixed that now, and it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be. You can extract classification rule set with no problems. Under reports, the default settings, if I click on default here, it removes everything. So select report types to apply is not on, and append date in file names is also not on. Standard reports and Solibri model is saved in place. That means it's saved in the place when you set up a task and we choose where the result is saved. It automatically creates or saves in that place. But for this workflow, I want to have all of this on, and I want to implement some classification and rule sets. And what I usually do is I go to the place, the folder that Solibri automatically creates when you're installing Solibri on the computer. So click on Solibri. It's the location here. It's under C and users and public and Solibri and Solibri. There you have all the examples and stuff that Solibri installs on the computer. If you have your own, just choose your own. I go on classification, and for this video I choose the 3 top: building elements general, building elements structural, building elements uniform. And same with the rule set. Now it's supposed to be almost in the same folder. And I go into architectural rules. That means I'm going to check an architectural IFC model. And I choose advanced space checks, beam validation, architectural, those two. And I say open. And all my settings here now, when I click and apply, it gets saved in a location on the computer. That location, to show that, it's under here and Beam Stefan. That's my username. I will show you at the end. When settings are okay, and I've done all the things I need to do. First time user, if you haven't used it before, I recommend that you go in settings and do those stuff first. When I create a new task, I click on the plus sign here. Now it's a little bit changed for those users that used the program before. Task name is set up like Autorun. That will be my task name. Task folder will be results. It will create a new folder called results. At once, when I say create new, I can see on my desktop that the program had created a new folder named Autorun and a new folder called results. If I try to create a new task now, I get a message that please finish open task before creating a new. That's because a lot of people create new tasks, new, and do a lot of stuff. And when the program saves, it wants to save all those things to one XML file that will become an issue. So it's better that to create a task and be finished with that and save. When we start to set up a configuration, we start with the input models. The input models, if I click on the green plus here, the input models will be at this file format, we will use IFC. And that's the format that Solibri is best at, to create an SMC file with all those structural or technical installations, and check it with itself or with other multidisciplinaries. I will only join in or add one model, and that will be Solibri model. Solibri building IFC model. I say open, and now the program asks me to put in short name, discipline, or update with. I don't have any model stop with it because this is the first time. Short name. Solibri usually creates a short name that are one big letter from the alphabet. For this workflow, I will set a large A, and on the discipline, I get the list from all disciplines in Solibri. I choose architectural. That's what the model is. It's an architectural model. After models, I will go to classification rule set and information takeoff. And with classification file and rule set file, I already have some from settings. So I can just click on retrieve from settings. If I do something and pull in classification files from settings and do a lot of stuff and want to delete those, just delete those. But if I want to bring them back again, just bring them back again. That was a bug in the former version that it was not possible, because if you deleted it here, you deleted it under settings. After that, I want to set up my reports. And because we were in tools or settings and created or said that we want all the reports types to apply, and did that before creating a new task, Solibri Batch Manager will automatically fill in reports from checking paths. You can see it's gray now. It's because we haven't checked on to get the reports. And if this is the second version of my run or create, we do a first run, and when we have done that, we can open it XML, and instead of create the presentation, we can update presentation if it is a model that we want to update every time we have a meeting or something like that. But now we will let it be on create presentation, and report from checking view will be automatically saved at the same location results as we created that task. But we have to go down to report options, and we want to include severity or checking. For this purpose, I want to check all, and we have possible we can set a snapshot, max category and snapshot. I choose 9. I haven't gotten a great feedback on what that mainly is, but I have created a button to set from a dash or 0 to 9. And after that is report from presentation view. It's that's also automatically that file path. And so have a BSF report. Now standard is BSF 2.1. Not every program or solution can have BSF report 3.0, but 2.1 is automatically, because that's the latest version. I know a lot of programs that I use supports. If you want other format, it's just change it, no problem. But if you choose BCF 1 or 2, you should resave the save location, because as you can see it became BCF, but 1.0 and 2.0 is BCF zip. I want to use BCF 2.0, 2.1. As it last one, coordination report. It's automatically saved to an Excel file, XLS, and not XLSX. If you want XLSX, you can do one of two things: just add the X at the end, or new save path, and you can see here XLX. I changed it back to XLS. And so we go to information takeoff. Information takeoff is a little bit special. At the forum Solibri Society, that's the place Solibri release information, new information about how Autorun works. I check it on. I want to do that, but the special thing is that you can only export one information takeoff to Excel. Only one, but you can have many information takeoff here. So I add an information takeoff. I use the samples again. Information takeoff here. I can choose building element quantities cost report. Choose two just to show you. Open, and down here at information takeoff, I now have to use a template for information takeoff, and then that template must have the same name as the takeoff you want to take off. So if you want to take off building element quantities, I have to go here. I use the examples again. Templates, and choose a template with the same name as the ITO. So building element quantities, or cost report at since I have it in information takeoff, building element quantities. And what the program does now is automatically save Excel file with the same name. The name from the port doesn't have to be the same name as the ITO or the template. You can have its own name, but I've programmed that so it automatically does that. But that's an issue, and you can only export one, but you can have a lot of information and take off that in Solibri. When I choose to save this, if I go to File and say Save, or Control plus S, there, it asks me give a configuration name. The configuration name is the name on the batch and XML. So I can give it a name. Since this is a video, I give it the name of video. Save, and it asks me, would I like to run the current batch configuration? And at the background I saw that video batch and video XML is created. I can say yes, and it will open Solibri and run it for you. I say yes. You can see in the background now that the CMD window or command window and Solibri startup. The command window is mainly the batch file. The batch file is like a trigger for the XML file. So if you want to run Autorun, you need a batch file and you need an XML file. And the batch file triggers the XML file, and Solibri reads the XML file. I get a dialog that says that the log file, etc. is created, Click on OK, and batch configuration file is successfully saved. OK. If I double click on the generating file, I can see when it's created and how long it used. If it didn't work, I will get a other message that Solibri is not existing on the computer and etc. If you don't have Solibri on the computer, you get an error message, but you can create the batch and XML file without having Solibri, but you cannot run the setup. The program or a bat and XML file have run, and the results should have all my files. It should have a BCF file, SMC file, checking report, both PDF and RTF, presentation report, PDF and RTF, and billing and context from Excel. If I double click on that, just to show you, now Solibri have created an XML file with my building element quantities. But if I open my Solibri file, just double click on that. If I open my Solibri file, in Solibri all my takeoff should be taken off, if you can say it like that. Just click on cancel here, show split, exit out. If I go on information takeoff, I can see that both cost report and billing and quantities are created. And I can see that my classification are implemented. I don't have anything in the structural, but I have general and I have uniform. And if I go on checking, my rules set should have been run. And I can see both getting started, that I just disable that. That was not supposed to be run, but I haven't set up my user settings on this computer. But advanced page check and BIM validation architecture are created, and I see I have a lot of issues. And under communication, I should have my reports, advanced page check and BIM validation architecture. And all of that have been created, exported to my reports. I exit out Solibri as a close all. Some last thing I want to show is that under help, we have created a view help, and that is a PDF. It's a Solibri Batch Manager PDF. Under that, we have created a lot of questions or a solution to questions that you may have. It shows the workflow and settings and stuff like that. It should be up to date. It should show BCF 3.0 and stuff like that, and a default. The one thing it doesn't show is where you save the user settings when you do changes with settings. It's one place it doesn't show, and I want to show you that also. So if I exit my program like this, it's just been closed, and I can go to this place. It's just on my C disk, user and my username. That's location. And app data. And you have two folders, the roaming. And the roaming, I create a BIM Consult Hamburg folder, and that's only the batch options. That is the configuration location. The settings for Solibri.exe setup and the folder for configuration. But under local and Beam Consult Hamburg folder here, and Solibri Batch Manager here. It saves user config as an XML file. The user config, it's just, if I can get it open, it's just that it saves the settings that you have. That's the only thing. So if you change the settings, actually both for what is true and what is false for report date, and where you want to check the report or BSF and stuff like that, and where you want classification rule set. If you change it, it automatically will change in the user config. The last thing I want to show you is that I've done a change in the batch file. If I get it open, just edit. The changes is that when we run the XML file in Solibri, the Solibri program want to first get Solibri exe as a string and start up, and then it want to implement the XML file. And I've done some changes to the path of the XML file and created as a what's it called, relative path. It's not the full path, it's just the relative path. It's half the path. And because it's always side by side batch and XML file, it's no problem to have a relative path along those. Yeah. And it's other than that, it's just small bugs and fixes. And if you have any questions or do want to give me some points to changes, or you can just go to report a bug, even though you don't have a bug, and send me a email or a message. Yeah, that's it. Hope that you want to use the program and are pleased to know how it works. Just give me a feedback if you want something implemented, and I will try my best. If I can solve it, ChatGPT can. Thank you.